On this episode of Locked On Angels, Zach Plesac gets a spot start and throws 6 innings to lead the Halos to a victory over a good Brewers team last night, and we celebrate. The Halos DFA'd Jose Suarez, and we celebrate. And the young Halo pitchers are improving, and they're trying to get back to the major leagues, and we celebrate. It's time to get locked on with Mike and John, and this is Locked On Angels.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, it is, and yes, we are. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SiriusXM by searching Locked On Angels. And if you'd like to get back to the Super Halo Bros for all this Super Halo content, here's some things that you can do. Leave us a rate and a review on Apple Podcasts. Thank you to those that have done that recently. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button. Thanks to those that have done that recently. And if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe and become a Locked On everydayer. And whether you're watching or listening, come over to YouTube, leave a comment. It's really one of the best ways to get in touch with John and I and be a part of the conversation. And today's episode is brought to you by our everydayers at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase.
Happy Tuesday to you, and thank you for being here for this episode of Locked On Angels, where it's your team every day. You've got the Frisch Brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Hey, it's our third season here at Locked On Angels, and it's the only place Monday through Friday. We're talking Angels baseball all the way through the season, baby, and so we're happy to be with you every single day of the week, no matter when you listen to us, whether it's on your way to work, on your way home from work. It's all just around work, I guess. But, you know, it's the best time to listen to a podcast, and we appreciate you making Locked On Angels your first listen every single day. Hey, on today's show, the Halos have sent Jose Suarez to that planet I was speaking of yesterday on yesterday's show.
Yes.
He's finally gone. He's been DFA'd. We'll talk about what happens with that. The young pitchers are working hard to improve and get back to be MLB ready. And the Angels got a win last night, Mike, 5-3 over the first place Brewers. Let's talk about it. I kept saying help from unexpected places. It certainly felt like that, right?
Yeah, certainly did, because Soriano had some sort of stomach issue, too many helmet nachos. We're not really sure what happened there.
Somebody said he had Taco Bell on Twitter. I thought that was funny.
That's pretty funny. So Zach Plesac was already going to be called up.
Yeah.
He was a part of the whole process of them DFAing Suarez and Cole Tucker, and then they bring up Zach Plesac, and they hey, by the way, could you start? that would be fantastic. So he struggled early. He was trailing 2-0 after a 2-run home run in the top of the second, but the Halos came back to tie it in the bottom of the third after a Joe Adell walk. Guillorme doubles and Adell scores, flew around the bases.
Mm-hmm.
And then Guillorme reached third on an error.
They actually made that a triple later on in the game.
Oh, they did.
So
okay.
How about Guillorme getting the triple, baby?
Boy, way to hustle, man. So then he's on third base, and then Nolan Schanuel singles, and Guillorme scores. And then after a throwing error that allowed Moniak to reach, Taylor Ward hits a deep sacrifice fly that scores Schanuel from third. And the Angels had a 1-run lead at this point after 3 innings.
Yeah, bottom of the fourth, Zach Neto
Big Papa
keeps hitting home runs, baby. And he hit a 2-run home run, giving the Angels a 3-run lead. Mike, he's third in the American League in RBIs for shortstop so far this month, in the month of June. Neto, by the way, just hit double-digit home runs with 10, which is exciting as well. He's just 4 home runs away from tying the Angels' shortstop records for home runs in a season, which is 14 by Andrelton Simmons, if you can believe it. And, man, I miss watching Simba play defense out there. He was... We really got his prime years, didn't we?
We did
with Simba. But Mike, Neto, and as far as I know, the rest of the Angels are nowhere near the top of the voting,
right? In
the All-Star voting. This is why I hate the fact that it's a popularity contest, because you have Neto doing the things that he's doing. O'Hoppe is probably the 3rd or 4th best catcher in the American League, and so it's just really annoying that it's always going to be the same people. And here I am, the pot calling the kettle black, because Mike Trout gets in every year. And so, but like, that's the thing, it's fan voting. And I really kind of wish that they would put that on the players. That would be kind of fun to see. But Yeah, Neto, do you think he gets a roster spot on the All-Star team if he doesn't make the fan voting?
Oh, for sure. If he keeps playing the way that he's playing right now. And if I look at the Angels, who would be their all-stars, I think Zach Neto would be number one. And then maybe like a Logan O'Hoppe, perhaps.
Not Tyler Anderson?
I think Tyler Anderson will get some consideration, probably be a guy that they bring in and to fill a roster spot. But I think Zach Neto is going to get he should get a lot of attention because I think that he's really representing the Angels well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, to me, Anderson's kind of the most obvious.
Yeah.
Like, he'll be the Angel selection, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Top of the fifth, there was some good fielding here from the Halos. There was a play that ended up going to shortstop, and Zach Neto decides to go for the lead runner. He has plenty of time. Mike, we've seen him do this before, and I love it every time he does it. Throws it to Guillorme over at third, who then runs down the runner and actually tagged him out by diving. And he was going for the left leg. He missed it on the replay. And I went, oh, great.
Yeah.
As his hand was continuing to come down, the right foot came up and he got the cleat way down. So Neto could have thrown it to Drury, and then that would have been maybe a double play there. But I was really excited to see him get that lead runner because, look, in a game like this against the first place team like the Brewers, you need all of those what should I say, advantageous outs that you can get.
Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing is Guillorme and Rengifo, I appreciate the hustle. A pickle is called a pickle for a reason. So throw that ball back to Drury and he can tag the runner out instead of running, and he got a face full of dirt. And then Rengifo the day before almost hurts himself and has to leave the game. So let's have a good old fashioned little league pickle there. That would have been a whole lot of fun. So him throwing it there would have been great, but they did get pretty lucky with the glove hitting the cleat. And the Brewer player, I can't remember who it was, but he walked off, was surprised they called him out, but then they showed him the replay and they're like, yeah, he got your cleat. But the guy didn't feel it because he's running back to the base. And he's like, you didn't get me. I'm safe.
How about Zach Plesac getting the pickoff at first? He's got a good little spin move out there. That was key because Bryce Terang got a solo shot that didn't have anybody on base, so he added a home run. It made it a 2-run Halo lead. Yeah, but fortunately, they were able to get that runner off first, which is great to see.
Sorry, interrupt you.
I was just saying, Plesac had a great spot start for Soriano in this one.
What a great start.
I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, what a great start for him, and to kind of come in at the last second and do this. Obviously, he's been great his last 2 starts in the minor leagues. We'll talk about him in the next segment, but 6 innings, John, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 1 K. A lot of fly ball outs, 12 of them to be exact, and got his first major league win on since April 15th, 2023. So been a while since he's had a win in the majors. But John, do you think that this was a combination of the Brewers not knowing what to expect from Plesac and preparing for Soriano, but also Plesac coming in and being filled with a whole lot of adrenaline? Like, what do you think led to this? Is he better now? Like, what is this Zach Plesac that we saw?
Yeah, I think the Angels got very lucky with this start, considering all the fly ball outs. I mean, and there was home run damage in this one, Mike, and fortunately it came with not a lot of runners on base, but this is a different story if Plesac doesn't get that pickoff or Neto doesn't throw to third and Guillorme makes that diving tag. There's a whole different narrative to this game if those home runs happen with runners on base. So it was a great job on the defense to, reduce the numbers of runners on base. However, I would say that the Angels just really lucked out with this Plesac start. Yeah. Not to take anything away from him, because at the end of the day, it's a quality start. Two walks is a positive in Plesac's check box, right? That's a positive because he's not putting runners on himself. So the way that they were able to dance around it with good defense and him getting those fly ball outs, I think that they really lucked out in this one. I think that if he ends up being the long relief guy in the pen in place of Suarez, that would be a very good thing.
Sure.
And it means that he's going, 3 innings at the most, which is enough to get through the order at least one time when you're facing a team and you have to get through those 3 innings. So again, I think the Angels really lucked out with Plesac in this one.
7th inning, Luis Garcia comes in, John, got into some trouble, walked the first batter, and then gave up a single to the next batter. Now, he should have had a strikeout. That walk to the first batter. That was a swing. It was Rhys Hoskins.
Two strikeouts because
Yes.
not only did the strike touch the zone according to StatCast, but it was also Rhys Hoskins' swing. It was a swing. So, it was like, well, he didn't get him out with a swing. What about the actual pitch itself that was a strike? So
that looked like a strike. Yeah. So he gets in some trouble, first and third, nobody out, but then he just manned up. Like he looked really good in this inning. Strikes out the next 3 batters, Johnny.
Wasn't it good to see him not fall apart and crumble? Because you always say it, Mike, the minute they face adversity, they shrink down and they they can't handle it. So I was just pleased to see Luis Garcia not only get through that, but to strike out the next 3 was really huge. 8th inning, Matt Moore entered after a leadoff walk. He got the next batters 1, 2, 3. 9th inning, your boy Carlos Estevez came in for the save opportunity. Got those Brewers 1, 2, 3 for his 13th save of the year. He's retired the last 21 batters that he's faced. How about the turnaround for Carlos Estevez, Mike?
I think my favorite insult is your boy.
That has become kind of our insult, isn't it? Your boy.
No, he's yours. Hey, I'll take him right now if he's retired the last 21 batters. 13th save, John. In fact, when he took the mound, my youngest daughter was having a snack in the kitchen, and she goes, "Oh, Steven's coming in. There goes your lead." So when he got the third out, I said, "Hey, Rye, look at that," and she was like, "He's lucky." So he has some history, right? But he's figuring some things out, and he obviously is working with all the coaching to figure out what he can do better. And so he's been really good. And I think him being really good is a benefit to the Angels because he is going to be somebody that they are potentially going to trade, hopefully hit the trade deadline, and they can get some really good pieces. As he gets better, the more wanted he will be by really good teams. And so I really like that he's doing well, especially against a good team like the Milwaukee Brewers.
Up that trade value, baby, Mike. I have one more pitching note that doesn't really have to do with the Angels, but Elvis tipping pitches Peguero got into this one with his 2.89 ERA out of the bullpen with the Brewers. So I don't want to hear any more about, well, maybe it wasn't really Matt Wise's fault. Maybe maybe Matt Wise was pretty good. No, I see him with the Brewer or the White Sox bullpen staff now, and I look at Elvis Peguero, and nobody knew he was tipping pitches except for Mike Trout in center field. Like Trout could see it from center field, rather than the pitching coach whose job is to know that stuff. So funny how there was a nice turnaround for Elvis Peguero once he left the Angels organization. So.
Maybe they should have taken away screen time last year when Matt Wise was here instead of this year, because he was probably looking down at his Bluey screen and looked up and went, tipping pitches. What's happening?
What? 20%. You only tipped 20%. Hey, thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. The Angels are playing the Brewers again tonight at the Big A, 6:38 Pacific time. You can catch every pitch of the Angels hometown broadcast on SiriusXM with the SXM app. All you got to do is search Angels. Coming up on Locked On Angels, a late Father's Day gift came on Monday as the Halos finally DFA'd Jose Suarez. Why did it take so freaking long, and what are the repercussions? We're going to talk about all of that coming right up.
Well, after a win in Game 1 against the Brewers, I know you're going to want to go to tonight's game. And so you got to download the Game Time app right now because they are the official authorized ticket marketplace for Major League Baseball. And you can get your tickets with Game Time a whole lot quicker and easier. Game Time is obsessed with finding ways to save you money on tickets. John and I use Game Time really often. And since it is a last minute ticket, since you didn't plan to go to the game tonight, now you're planning on it because you're like, hey, maybe they're going to win again. That'd be
Get
awesome.
them real cheap. Let's go.
Yeah. You can save up to 60% off for any tickets, not just sports, but for any tickets with Game Time. And they have these exclusive in-app flash deals on select seats ahead of time for the game or the event. That's why you need to have an account with them so that you can see those flash deals. And then, John, I'm a nerd. I'm a dad. I love all-in pricing. I love to know what the cost is at the very end. I don't like hidden fees. What's that?
Just tell me what I need to know ahead of time so I don't freak out later. I
need to be quick. I need to be easy. I need to be fast. And that's why I love Game Time. And here's what's great about Game Time as well. Again, I'm in dad mode right now because we just celebrated Father's Day. Every purchase you receive Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So for all you family men and women out there, when something comes up, basketball game, baseball game, you got to do this school thing, or you got to go on this trip or this work thing, you can have Game Time help you out and then work out the policies, work out the tickets, and it's great. Game Time's on your side. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app right now. Use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB, and they're going to give you $20 off your first purchase just for putting that promo code in. So download Game Time right now. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. And Locked On Angels is also brought to you by our new Everydayer Supply House. You can order supplies from the website that's made for skilled trades.
You didn't do it with me. We were going to do it
I forgot what
together.
it was that you wanted me to do.
The website that's made for skilled trades. We got to say together. Come on, get it together, Frisch.
All right, we got off air. We'll try it again later. Thousands of parts from hundreds of brands in just a couple of clicks at supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com gives you 24/7 access to huge selection of plumbing and HVAC and electrical supplies, and you get fast delivery anywhere in the U.S. And if you need some help, Johnny, I know you always need some help when it comes to this stuff. Get industry-leading after-sales service from their friendly and knowledgeable customer service support team, and you get to talk to a real person. So it's great for plumbers and technicians and contractors. So you need to check out supplyhouse.com right now. Save money and time when you order online. Order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from supplyhouse.com. Real people and real service.
This is the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. And if you haven't done so already, Everydayers, you got to make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program just for you to bring you all the highlights and the biggest stories across the sports world. Brings you can't miss analysis, opinions, news. It's streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. Speaking of your team, they're playing the Brewers tonight. 6:38 Pacific time. You can catch every pitch of the Angels' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Angels.
A lot of you know that our everydayers here at Locked On Angels that John and I are wrestling nerds. So there are some chants that we really love, like the old school classic EC dub. Oh,
I know
EC dub, right?
Yeah.
And then there's, of course, John's an AEW fan, so there's AEW. Well, when it comes to baseball and Jose Suarez, our chant has been DFA. Yeah. We got word yesterday that the one and only Jose Suarez was DFA'd along with Cole Tucker. But let's talk about
they DFA'd Jose Suarez. What did it cost? Cole Tucker.
Yeah. Vanessa Hudgens is really sad too.
I know.
Brandon Drury came up. Great to see him back. And then Zach Plesac, of course, was selected. Let's start with Suarez, Johnny. Wash said, quote, he just wasn't performing.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, what happened to if you can't pull your weight, you're not going to be on this team? That was, I believe, that's what Wash said before the season.
Well, he's
started.
followed through with that just years later,
light
years,
6 months later.
Yeah. Wash also said the Angels hope that maybe they can keep him in the organization. We'll talk about that. First, Johnny, question for you: what took so long?
He's got the all of the details of the betting scandal, Mike, and so Artie's implicated, John Carpino's implicated. Perry Manassian's implicated. No, honestly, it didn't make any sense for Suarez to still be around. Mike, he had trade value over the offseason and during spring training. In fact, there was a discussion, I believe Jeff Fletcher of the OC Register brought it up, asked some GMs privately, hey, would you take a guy like Suarez? And they said, well, some of them said, no, probably not. And some guy said, oh, yeah, we'd take him in a heartbeat because we could do this and that and da-da-da-da. So there was a desire for Jose Suarez to be on somebody else's team. But the fact is that the Angels kept thinking, oh, he'll get right. And look, I know we brought it up yesterday, and I believe it was Nathan, Locked On Every Day, or Nathan was like, when did he ever show flashes of goodness? And I'm like, it's been a long time. But
I said that, so I bow my head to Nathan. He's right. Yeah. You said he was kind of sort of serviceable, right?
Well, but the thing is that in 2021, he came out of the bullpen to start that year. About halfway through, he came out of the bullpen, pitched really great, pitched great the rest of the season as a starter. 2022, he got the full-time job as the starter, struggled back and forth. He had good outings and bad. He had that one game where he had a perfect game through 7 innings against the Rangers, and that was incredible. I actually accidentally stumbled across that episode we did about that 2 years ago. But since 2023, there's been nothing redeeming about Jose Suarez. No. He can throw a pitch, but it's not a good pitch, and he just did not have it anymore. And so I just don't understand why he was still around. To me, he would have been gone a long time ago if this was another team, Mike, because the Angels, for some reason, just can't get it together and figure out what to do with the guys that they have. And like I said yesterday, there are a million options, whether you want to look in-house or, outside the organization. They're there. There's just no reason to keep him around. It makes me laugh because Jaime Barria had that long relief role last year, and he kind of had some starts here and there. And look, he didn't frustrate me nearly as much as Jose Suarez has, but Jaime Barria got his contract sold to a foreign baseball league, a foreign baseball team by the Guardians. They picked him up and he was in their AAA, and then he got his contract purchased. So these are the types of arms that the Angels got on the international market during the Billy Epler era. And this is where they end up at the end of the day. So the fact is that he could stay in the organization if he passes through waivers. I imagine some team will claim him because they could probably make him a reclamation project that the Angels couldn't. But at the end of the day, if they can get something out of him, more power to that organization and more power to them for getting something out of Jose Suarez.
Brandon Drury is back. He played last night, and Drury needs just playing time. Because every time he's had playing time, he started to heat up and then he got hurt. And then he came back and started to heat up and then he got hurt again. And so he needs playing time because the Angels have to trade him at the trade deadline, right?
Yeah, we got to up that value, baby. And he did play some great defense last night, I got to say. He looked good out there at second base. And the times that he made contact, there was a pop-up, then there was a long fly ball just under the baseball, Mike. And so I think if he gets his timing down, we could be taking a drive down to Drury duty because he's going to hit one out here sooner or later. So I imagine some team will come along and want him, whether his value is high or low. Still think he needs to be traded. You got to get what you can get for Drury instead of letting him walk. And he's going to add 10, 12, 15 home runs to a contender, after the deadline. Can he get that many in the next couple of weeks after the trade deadline while teams are trying to race for a wild card spot or what have you? I think he could do that. So I think if I'm one of those teams, I would want Drury on my team.
Zach Plesac, of course, looked great last night in his spot start. And you mentioned already the role that he could potentially play. But John, do you think that he's maybe slotted more for the starting rotation?
I could see him maybe getting one more start. I believe Chase Silseth has a start on Friday for AAA. It's a rehab assignment. And so he's working his way back. And before he takes that fifth spot in the rotation that did belong to Reed Detmers, maybe they'll want to run Plesac out there again. I still contend, Mike, they got very lucky. And look, at the end of the day, a win is a win. I just don't think that you don't keep pushing your chips on this guy and saying, well, maybe he can do it again for us. Yeah. I think he's prone to the home run ball. We saw it during spring training. We saw it last night. And those fly ball outs, some of them were pop-ups. That was great. Some of them were long fly ball outs, Mike, and those can be very dangerous. And again, with those home runs, there was nobody on base for like the Terang home run. And so to me, there's a lot of luck involved. So I don't think that the Angels need to keep pushing that button and trying their luck with Zach Plesac. I think that they need to eventually get him in the bullpen. If he does get another start, that's fine. The Angels aren't going anywhere anyway. But at the end of the day, if this is somebody you want to keep around, I think he's got to be out of the bullpen, right?
Yeah, I think so. And it's nice to have somebody that at least performed for the Halos last night.
Right. I'm not taking that away from him at all either.
And we're just so used to somebody coming up or making excuses like Suarez made excuses for himself, which, by the way, if I could take it back to him for just a moment, looking at the strike zone and the pitches he threw and then him saying, well, they just hit pitches that were out of the zone. No. Every one of his pitches except for one that hit a batter were in the strike zone.
Yeah.
And they were crushing those pitches. His first pitch was a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. And so that was probably the most concerning thing, this lack of awareness of what it is that you were doing out there, and then the lack of accountability and taking responsibility for what it is that he's supposed to do. I'm not, hey, sometimes they just, they get hits. I can't control that. No. That's why you're there. You need to miss it. You need to miss bats, right?
Yeah.
So if he does well somewhere else, good on him. If it becomes a Cy Young Award winner, good on him.
Right.
so frustrating being an Angel fan with somebody like a Jose Suarez who just gets rolled out there every single time. It was like when Joe Blanton was around. You just knew there was going to be 7 runs on 9 hits in the 3rd inning and that it was just going to be a terrible start.
I remember the old joke was when he finally did it was like, Joe Blanton's got a no-hitter through 1 inning because he actually started a game without giving up a hit, unlike the rest of his starts. So that was the old joke. But yeah, I have to believe that Suarez's comments after the game were kind of ultimately what did him in and why he got the DFA yesterday.
John and I are loving the Prize Pick app. It is the America's number one fantasy sports app. More than 5 million members are on it. Most fun and exciting way to get in on all of the action for your favorite sports, watching your favorite players. You could turn $10 into $1,000 in a single game this summer watching some of your favorite sports like baseball. And you can make a Prize Pick lineup in as little as 60 seconds. So if you forget and you're like, hey, got to do that, open the app, and all you need to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you are locked in. If you need any help, the fantasy guru, John Frisch, is right here to help you out with that too. So just comment below and he'll help you pick who it is that you need to pick. I like your take on Zach Plesac. Angels got lucky. So this is the guy. I'm pointing to him right now. There he is right there on YouTube.
Don't put that evil on me.
Prize Pick also offers great payouts with Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account. So you need to download the Prize Pick app today. Use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB. They're going to give you, because you use that promo code, $100 match of first deposit for you. So you need to check out Prize Picks, get that $100 match, use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Join Prize Picks today. You can pick more and pick less. It's that easy.
Mike, you said we celebrated a win. We celebrated a Jose Suarez DFA. And we want to celebrate some of the young pitching. The Angels have a handful of young pitchers working their way up or working their way back. And here are a few names and what they did in their most recent start. Speaking of those young starters, Davis Daniel, who's a fan favorite here on Locked On Angels. He spent some time with us over the offseason, did a great 2-part interview, which is on the channel if you want to check that out. He really had some great things to say, and I think he really has a starter's mentality.
Yeah.
A lot of what Barry Enright has brought to the team in terms of mentality, Davis Daniel seemed to already have that while he spoke to us. So I think he understands how to be a great starter. Last Friday, he went 6 2/3 innings pitched, danced around 6 hits, gave up 1 earned run, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Chase Silseth, who I mentioned has a rehab start on Friday for AAA, he went 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. His second rehab start in the ACL, the Arizona Complex League, 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, 7 Ks. Then he went to AAA for his third start. It was his first one in AAA. 6 earned runs and 2 2/3 innings pitched with 5 walks and 2 home runs. He threw 71 pitches. Little tricky there in the league, the AAA league, the Pacific Coast League, because that higher elevation can get to you.
A lot of walks are going to hurt you in that league as well.
Right. Well, and it's hard to locate too if your pitches aren't moving the way that you expect them, especially if you go from the dry weather of Arizona to to Utah. You know what I'm saying? In Salt Lake, his fourth start, second in AAA, he gave up 3 runs across 5 innings, threw 77 pitches in that one.
Sam Bachman made his 4th rehab start for the ACL Angels on Saturday. 3 hits in 3 innings, 1 run, 1 earned run, no walks, and 3 Ks. Johnny hit 99 during this start. Only did that 4 times in the majors last year. Had the back issues, and he was really in the low 90s. And so seeing him hit 99 shows that he's feeling good and he's able to stretch out. He's able to finish his mechanics. That was the biggest thing with him, is finishing, coming forward towards the plate.
Yeah, with Sam Bachman and his injury history, I don't think that we really got a good example of what he could be. Now, the injuries can always come back. They can always come back to bite you. But to know that he was hitting 99 on the radar gun is huge, because I think we were kind of deprived of that because he was dealing with some of those injuries that he's had.
John, Caden Dana had a great start for Rocket City. 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned, no walks, 10 Ks. Now remember, his previous 3 starts, he struggled, but then the previous starts before that was really good. And so to see him go 8 innings and then to strike out 10 and not walk anybody was huge. And then we gave you an update last week on Reed Detmers. John, he had his second start for Salt Lake last Thursday. Check this out. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, 7 Ks, 15 whiffs. So great to see him improve. Remember, he went 5 innings last time and he gave up 7 runs and gave up a lot of hits, but he was working on things. He was trying to be in the zone. And so what you see here is that he was in the zone, but he was getting a lot of swings and misses, 15 whiffs in this game. And that's what the Angels are looking for. He's working on his mechanics. He's working on landing in the same spot, and then he's working on hitting his spots. And these numbers, with that idea, with what he's working on, these numbers are very, very good. Nice improvement. Celebrate Reed Detmers.
Yeah, those numbers, 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 earnings, 3 walks, 7 Ks. That feels like Reed Detmers to me.
Yes, it does.
That feels like Reed Detmers, either when he's being good Reed Detmers or great Reed Detmers. I know great Reed Detmers can, give you 8 innings like he did against the Dodgers last year.
Yeah.
But in this situation, Mike, to me, it seems like this feels like Detmers getting back to who he is. And so it's interesting to me that he, was working on things in that first start, just trying to hit the zone and concentrate on landing in the same spot. This one feels more like it was a competitive outing for him in terms of, hey, I'm going to actually not just work on things. I'm going to actually try to play the game here, right? I think that's the difference in this situation. Who are we going to see on this big league club first? Who do you think it's going to be? Silseth on his way back from the injury, or do you think they bring Reed back up? What do you say?
I would say Chase Silseth needs to be the one that comes up first. I think Reed needs maybe 2 or 3 more starts before they consider bringing him back up. I would love to see him stay down there a whole lot longer because I think that he needs to really get his confidence back and work on his mechanics. So I think Chase Silseth is the guy that they're going to see first on this big league club.
Do we see, and now this is a hypothetical for you, do we see somebody from the rotation get traded and then suddenly, there's a spot for Reed Detmers. Time to bring him back up. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, if Tyler Anderson gets traded, I could see them bringing Reed and Silseth up. And I think that's what the rotation should look like if all of these guys are healthy and are doing the best that they can with Detmers, Silseth, and Sandoval, Soriano. I love that 4 right there. That's a strong 4 for this team. 2 righties, 2 lefties. And so I think that you'll probably see something along those lines and Detmers coming up sooner if Tyler Anderson does get traded.
Yeah, it does seem like a situation where, you and I and everydayers and Angel fans all have this discussion of, what are they going to do? They got 6 pitchers, and what are they going to have enough room? Are they going to go 6-man rotation? And then suddenly somebody's hurt.
Something always happens.
Something's on the IL. They're very lucky when it comes to that stuff, Michael. But yes, I believe that I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if it's a Tyler Anderson move at the deadline, before the trade deadline, somebody's going to want him. I know he's got a 1.5 years left, but I think there's no better time than to move Tyler Anderson with how good he's doing right now. And I think it's going to coincide with one of these guys, probably Reed Detmers, working their way back to the majors.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. The Angels play the Brewers game 2 tonight, 6:38 Pacific time, and you can catch every pitch of the Angels hometown broadcast with SiriusXM on the SXM app. Just search Angels.
Hey, give us a follow on Twitter at Locked On Angels and at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. Whether you're watching or listening, come on over to today's show, get in the comments section, hit that like button and subscribe button on your way down to the comment section. It's the best way to get in touch with Mike and I. Mike, real quick, I had to laugh about this, not because it's funny, but because it's just like, oh, that sucks. Willy Adames was on the Rays, and he was traded to the Brewers. Do you know why Adames was expendable and that they were able to trade him to the Brewers?
It was Wander Franco, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. So now they don't have Wander Franco, and they don't have Willy Adames either. And
Dang.
I was just watching him play last night against the Angels, and I thought about that, and I went, oh,
that's a bummer.
That's brutal for Rays fans for sure.
Yeah.
Now, on a different note, what do we have on deck for tomorrow's show?
Well, speaking of trades, GMPM was talked to and interviewed about what he's doing preparing for the trade deadline. And what he had to say, there were some really interesting nuggets, but then there were some, I think, nuggets up for discussion. So we're going to cover it all tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
I like my nuggets up for discussion, not deep fried. All right, friends, thanks for being here today. I love when I get you. We appreciate you being here. Until tomorrow's show, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
It's your boy. And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
All right, y'all, have a great day, and we'll see you back here on Wednesday.
Now I want some chicken nuggets.
Right.
Although McDonald's is expensive. It's more expensive than Chili's.
That's what they tell me.